Hey everyone, and welcome to David's Deep Dive. Every Tuesday, I come right live at you with some information that'll help benefit you, your life, your business, and the things that really matter and important to you. And today's topic is one of my favorites. Let me go ahead and launch my screen here. How's everybody? Can y'all hear me if you're out there while I'm launching? Can you tell me if you can hear me? There you go. All right, here we go. I got some people. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so welcome. So today I'm going to cover one of my favorite topics, and this is a topic that's really important. If I were you, I'd take notes because this is probably the one thing that would have changed my life, like literally changed my whole life. If you would have met me 10 years ago, you would have been very shocked to find that I am not the same person. In fact, I don't think I'm the same guy that I was a year ago, maybe even 6 months ago. And it's all because of the simple fact that, I've changed some things. So my name is David A. Pettis. I'm the chief economy builder at a company that I built in a book that I founded or wrote called Building Your Own Economy. And the concept behind the book is that you take ownership and responsibility for your life and stop allowing the outside world, the other economies, as I call them in the book, to impact who you are, what you do, and how you take on the world. So many of us surrender to the world around us, to the Netflix, to the social media, to our families and our friends, and we forget that we are independent thinkers in the freest land of the most. This is the greatest country I've ever existed. And with that freedom, we have the ability to think. Now, no matter where you are in the world or what you do, honestly, you can be the king of your own castle anywhere you are. I promise you that you can be successful. And so today I'm going to talk about that. So your best version. Now, this is an important thing because I believe that there are many people who are not living the best version of themselves. And that includes me. I think every day there is something that we or I need to improve upon. And you can say that to yourself each day, and you do, right? You always say this, I need to do this, I need to do this, most common. I need to lose weight, I need to make more money, I need to have a better relationship, I need to get closer to, I need to give more to, I need to have more engagement with. You see, every time you say that, that means you have a better version of you inside of you. And you're looking to expose that, you're looking to uncover it. You haven't made or found the way to get to that person. And one of my favorite stories was from a guy named Ed Mylett. Ed Mylett's a very big motivational speaker, but he's also a big independent thinker in the world of business. And he talks about, at the end of his life, he believes that he's going to encounter the best version of himself. And he says that what happens is that in an alternate universe, there is the best version of ourselves. And then there's where we are today, us. And as we progress through life, we're eventually going to get to the end of the road, which is, when we die, when we pass. And at that point, you may be challenged by meeting the best version of yourself. And the greatest fear that he says that he possesses, that we should all possess, is that when you get there, that you're not the same person. So let me say that again. If you don't live your best version in this life that you've been blessed with, then when you get to the end and you get to meet the best version, you're going to be very disappointed that you did not get to that potential, that you did not pursue it, that you not became it. And so his fear is that he won't be the same person that he was pursuing. And I truly, when I heard that, I truly believed it, because there is a best version of me. And when I get to the end of my life, I definitely want to say that I exposed it every single day, that I didn't hold back, that I didn't let go of, I didn't give in to the things that really tried to take that away from me. Now, you and I have to battle each and every day through the adversity of people telling us we shouldn't be our best. And there's so many examples of that, but the ones that come to mind is every time you try to lose weight, somebody says, why are you always dieting? Why are you always trying to lose weight? Like, you look perfect. Or somebody tells you, like, why do you want to go back to school? Or why do you want to read all the time? Or why do you want to study? Or why don't you, go out with me on Saturday night and party and get drunk and not want to wake up for church? You see, there's always somebody out there, somewhere, something. There's a movie calling your name, a person pulling you away. Something is going to distract you from being the best version of you. And for many people today, I find that to be their families, right? And I find that to be their friends. Those are the two influencers that really gauge and pull away from things. You see, many people feel like just making money is probably what their best version is. I see so many people who really, who make decent money. I mean, you and I can have just different definitions of that, but their life from an outside appearance, I can tell just from seeing it on social media, their life is not, it may be cool because they can afford to travel, or they can afford to buy the most expensive things, or to always have a nice purse, or to have a nice vehicle, or live in a nice home. But honestly, they don't have it together health-wise, right? Their health. And so they're deteriorating their health because they can afford to buy nice meals, and those nice meals probably aren't healthy. Or they deteriorate their ability to build wealth because all they do is blow their money on going out and drinking and buying expensive bottles and purses, right? So they deteriorate their ability to create wealth. And then in their relationships, they never really focus on those because they're too busy trying to impress their friends and impress the world with their wealth or their money that they've built. And so these best versions of ourselves are contradictory, because that's not who we need to be. You see, you have to come in developing your own economy. You have to have health, you have to have wealth, you have to have a legacy that you're working towards building, and you have to have rules to follow. And the best version of you has to understand that. So let's talk about this, right? So who's this for? Anybody who really wants to take their life to a better place. This is in your professional careers. This is in your relationships. This is in the way that you enter the world. But more importantly, this is your personal development journey. And so I'm going to tell you guys, yesterday I was having a talk with a friend of mine, and we were talking about the journey through life. And it was more so through the career journey, because I've been struggling with some things lately in my journey, and I'm trying to get a lot more clarity on those things. And I've been blessed. There's a group of individuals, including my wife, that have really been in the same mindset for a few weeks now. And we're all focused on trying to improve who we are, because we need to be very clear with who we want to be. And I was talking about my journey. It wasn't even a deep talk. Let's just put it this way. What it came down to is, I've been in business I've been in business for myself for about 15 years. I've been dedicated to my own business really for 13 years. But so I could say I've been in business 15 years. I can say that I've really been dedicated in one specific business for 13 years. But that's not really true. It's taken me 13 years, 13 years to get to the point where I'm today in my own journey. But really, when my real journey began was about 8 years ago. And that development really came from me having to go through some extreme pain in my life to be able to change who I was. You see, I knew I wasn't in a good place 8 years ago. I knew that there were a lot of things in my life that weren't right. Number one, I was in the wrong relationship. Number two, I was not focusing on the right things in life. I was drinking too much. I was smoking cigarettes. No, I wasn't smoking. I had already quit. I was drinking too much. I was out partying with my buddies. I was focusing on watching basketball on every night of the week and going out and partying and hanging out with people all the time. I was focused on relaxing and not working. I was in the right place. I was number three was I wasn't really doing my best in my business. I thought I had made it. I thought I had really grown a business that was going to take off, and it was going to take me to the moon with it. And all of those things were completely wrong, but that's what I believed at the time. And within a short 6-month period, I realized all of it had to go away. I realized that I needed to get out of a toxic relationship. I needed to get away from the people that were really holding me down. My business literally was on the verge of bankruptcy, and I gave up and told myself I was just going to quit and not go into business or get out of the business completely. I was very fortunate at that point to meet some amazing people, which I met my today wife around that time. I had a good friend and a mentor who stepped up to take me on at that time and help me through some difficult times, which I talk about in my book. I had some good friends who really supported my success, and or not my success at the time. They supported my journey. And when I went through all of this, one thing kept on consistently coming to mind without even knowing it. Maybe you've had this feeling, was that I didn't want to be the same person ever again. I didn't want to feel broke. I didn't want to feel lonely. I didn't want to feel that I was a mess. I don't know if you've ever been there. And so what really changed for me is I had to find a way to change me. And I started to look around me, and I didn't see anybody that I really would wanted to be like. I think that's something we should all look for. Look for somebody you kind of want to be like and see what they're doing. I looked around me, I didn't have anybody of those people. I didn't have anything. And so what did I do? I turned to the most resourceful way of finding information that I could possibly think. And I went to YouTube and I went to Google, and I started to find people that were doing things. You know, I typed in top business leaders. I typed in how to get unbroke, right? How to find me, understanding myself. And I went into this development journey where I started to find people, and I discovered one of my first early on mentors. His name was Jim Rohn. And I discovered another one, Brian Tracy. And I discovered Les Brown, and I discovered, Zig Ziglar. These are all people in the development world. And what they were doing to me, they weren't teaching me about business. They were teaching me about me. And that's actually the first step, by the way. And I'm not going to list out steps here because this just be too long, but I want to share this with you. The first step is to work on you. So many people want to go to school to get educated, per se, in a topic or a subject that really can only evolve them if they evolve themselves first. Like, it can only take you further if you're further. And that's really what changed me. And so I started to listen to different things. I started to hear different opinions on wealth and different opinions on life and relationships and health. And I knew just right there when I started to hear these things that my life could be so much better if I really just changed what I put in my mind. Before that, I was putting in junk. I was watching a lot of TV. I was going to the movies. I was putting in alcohol and stimulants, and I wasn't doing anything good for me. I was putting junk. It was like trying to put a lot of garbage in my mind and expecting roses to jump out of that thing, and it never happened. And so what I realized, it's all about me, or all about you. And I started to experience this transformation in who I was. And I remember, my team probably knows this, for those of them that may be watching today or watch this video on a replay, it was when I started to say, hey, look, guys, we're going to read a book together. And my team was, at that time, small team. And that team, I remember one of our first early readings was called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. I made him read it together. And the reason I made us read it together was because I knew that I could not do it alone. One of my favorite quotes is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I knew that. And I had to take my team with me. I said, I can't surround myself with a bunch of ducks if I want to be an eagle. And that was the first step. I said, okay, I'm going to read. I'll make them read, because these guys are a team and I'm a team. We got to work together. And that was some of my personal development journey, was reading books with my team, reading books for myself. I started to push on myself. My first book, if you want to write this down, my first real book of reading and personal development, and probably one of my first real books that I read the whole damn thing in my whole life. And that was only about 7 years ago, or 8 years ago, was called No Excuses by Brian Tracy. And simply put, that book told me, David, stop being a little bitch and stop making excuses for your life, and really commit to the things that you need to do, and stop allowing anything else to get in the way of that. I summarized the whole book, but if you want to read the book, I promise you, it might change your life. It could change mine. And when I read that book, and then I read another book, and I started to put things together in perspective, I found this passion for wanting to become a better version of myself. This passion, so passionate, right? And I hadn't really invested much money at that point, because I didn't have much. I was on the verge of financial bankruptcy. And I didn't have a lot of opportunities to get out of that, other than I just had to work really hard. That was my workout, work really hard. And so instead of working just on the business, I worked on me. Now in 2014, I decided that I needed to commit at a higher level. And a lot of the personal development books that I read, videos that I watched on YouTube, and commitments that I made, a lot of these guys told me, David, if you really want to commit, you got to invest your time and you got to invest your money. There has to be some pains. There has to be pain. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to invest some money. Now, I had a credit card or two that I did not want to use because I didn't really have the ability to really pay them off. But it was Christmas or Black Friday, 2014. And maybe it was 15. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was 14 or 15. And I made a commitment that day. I got an ad on Facebook from a guy named Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins is the ultimate guru when it comes to personal development. Like, he calls himself, I'm not the guru, but he is. And let me tell you something, Tony, just to be clear, I don't want you guys to go to Tony Robbins, think he's going to solve your business problems and he's going to solve all your relationship problems and all that. Honestly, Tony solved my problems. And those problems were the inner me, how to get how to get at peace with me, how to understand me, how to get clarity on me, how to engage with me. That's what he taught me. And it was one of the ads that hit me. And I said, I'm going to commit. And he had this Black Friday buy a ticket for half off thing. I didn't know how I was going to get to the event. It was in the middle of what I'll call the busiest time of year for me, tax season. But I was going to buy this ticket and I was going to do it. And that was the first full financial commitment that I ever made to me, And because of that, changed my whole life. And I went to an event in March of the following year. And it was so coincidental. My wife today, which was me and her were dating at the time, I said, hey, you want to go with me to this thing? And I had bought a very good ticket because it was half price. And I traded that ticket up so I could get 2 tickets so she could join me. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. That I have ever had with anybody. And my wife and I got to experience that. One of our first memories together was going to a Tony Robbins event. And to get a little more deep on that, at that event, or maybe it was the second, no, it was at that event, I made a bigger commitment. And I committed to a substantial amount of money that I didn't have, which I financed at that time, to becoming part of what we call Tony Robbins Mastery University, which was how to get my life in order, my health, my wealth right, my relationships, my mind. And I went to a higher level with Tony. And I'm a graduate of his, what he calls university. You know, I'm not telling you have to follow that journey, but I'm going to tell you something. When I did that, and I really invested in me, not just time, but money, when I made a financial backing that secured my commitment of time, my life completely changed. And the guy that you see before you, even 7 or 8 years ago, I was not the same guy. I told you again at the beginning, I'm not the same guy I was yesterday, probably, but I was definitely becoming the person that I am today. I'm in that best version at trying to pursue it every single day. And for many years, guys, I've struggled and battled with my own demons, if you will, in my mind, telling me, do it. You're not good enough. It's not possible. It's impossible. You aren't smart enough. You can't do it every day. And the personal development journey says those are always going to be there. People will always be in your way. Your mind will always trip you up. I think your mind is designed, just to be clear, if you want to write this down, your mind is designed to protect you. This thing is designed to protect you from harm. And so everything that you know you need to do typically feels like pain. And because it feels like pain, your mind is trying to tell you, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Because what happens is that pain is what you need the most. And your mind says no. And it's protecting you. It's the protection mechanism. And so for many years, I go through this, and I still go through it every day. This personal development journey and this development of my best version is the pursuit of it every single day. So you're probably wondering, how do you do this? Well, here's how you do it, guys. Ways to develop. First off, learning. For those of you watching, and this may offend some of you, this is not college. This isn't school. You know, I can't tell you how many people I've seen lose potential because they decided to go to school. I'm not hating on a university or a school or some trade or whatever. You want to pursue it, go for it. But let me just tell you something. That is a checkbox in the pursuit of some sort of career goal, okay? That's not a development goal. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Your understanding of world literature or history or some geology of some sort or science that maybe has no real relevant, use in your life today is really just a waste of your time. Your time is better served learning things that can pursue you, the best version of you. So for an example, if you're having trouble right now today, understanding or saving financial struggles, if you will, understanding finances, saving, credit, what should you do? You should definitely invest in something to teach you how to do that, not just go and, well, I'm going to go back to school. That must be my problem. I'm already in debt. I don't care. I guess I should just go into more debt. We have a course called Path to Freedom, right? Startyourpathtofreedom.com that teaches you those things. But either way, that's not what I'm here to sell you. But I'm telling you, you got to read things that are going to learn things that are going to put you in a better place in your own life, in that version of you. Exercise. Why? Because people don't understand that you can't be strong here if you're not strong here. I tell people that all the time. You think you're real strong. You think you're real strong mentally. No, you're not. You're weak. If you don't have a strong body, you got a weak mind. See, the strongest minds tell the body what to do. The strongest minds tell the body what to do. In fact, your body won't stop. Your mind will. The body won't stop. The mind will stop. Your body, even after death, will twitch, will continue to pump for a few more minutes, right? Your mind left, not your body. Your body goes. Exercise is a form of development of oneself and the best version of you. Creating. Be creative, artistic, outgoing, developing. These are a form of developing oneself. Your time. And I probably could reword that to not put your time. I'd probably say commit time. I think many people are too afraid to commit 20 minutes to themselves each day because they have children or they have a husband or a spouse or because they have a dog or because they have blank, 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 blank. Insert your excuse. Insert excuse here. Many people go through life with these excuses that they don't have time for themselves, which is absolutely not true. Wake up 20 minutes earlier if you want some time to yourself. Wake up an hour earlier. In fact, if you watch one of my previous videos, I say wake up 3 hours before you need to be somewhere. Give you time. Give you some you time. And you're probably wondering what I would do in that you time. Read, exercise, meditate, commit some time to you. Last but not least, journaling. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I try my best to do this every day. This is one of the hardest disciplines to develop is journaling. But you probably can't see because I have the background on, but here's my journal book. And I write in it every day, or at least I try to, at least 4 or 5 days a week, where I write in there some things like some of my goals and my topics. If you're in my BYOE bootcamp right now, 30-day challenge, you got a preview of that journal so you can use it. If you're interested in that, just message me. I'll help you out there. But it's a whole life shift, if what we call it. But journaling is a good indicator of your understanding of you. It's a good start. And so if you're not journaling and writing down your thoughts every day, what you're doing is you're allowing your thoughts to wander and go. In fact, I always think about my memory doesn't serve me very well. It doesn't. I always know that because I forget things all the time. Ask my wife. She might be on here. I forget things all the time. So why not journal them? Why not write them down? If you're willing to create a grocery list, why wouldn't you create a journal of your life? So these are good ways to develop. And if you have questions in here, please put them in the chat, okay? So I put this image, I found this image online. I didn't create this, okay? But I definitely like this image because it is something that would give you an understanding of some of the books that I believe are very important in life. Depending on the place in your journey, these books will speak to you. Depending on the spot, the distance in your journey, some of these books will speak to you. I have read a book 10 years ago, or not 10 years ago, because it's a lie. It would be 7 years ago. The No Excuses book, if I read it today, wouldn't change me. It wouldn't do anything for me, because I'm not that, I don't need that message anymore. I don't need it. What I need today is clarity on me. I need to get better. I've honed down that I'm committed. You see, motivation. I'm not looking for motivation. I'm not looking for motivation, guys. I am looking for clarity today. It's a different version of me. And if you know that, what happens is that's all you focus on. That's all you commit to. You focus on committing to you. So here's some good ones. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think that's a great book. I think it's a good book. Let's see. I'm looking at some messaging. There's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Very good book. 4-Hour Work Week. Jobs is a good book. I have some Think and Grow Rich. One of my favorites is on there. That book, by the way, Think and Grow Rich, is probably one book that has really impacted my whole life. The difference between that book and today, I read that book 6 years ago. I could not get through it. My mind was just not advanced enough to understand it. I wasn't able to receive the message. Today, I could read that book every day and just be like, wow, every day I'm just enlightened and inspired, and so on and so forth. So any questions? Because I don't want to take up all day just going on things. Let me see here. How many people on here? Man, I got some good people on here. Thank you for being here. Any questions? Hope I answered your question, Jeremy. It was No Excuses by Brian Tracy. Here's a question. My book was missing there. Thank you, Ruth. Yeah, it's not in there. I should have put that in there, huh? I should have put my book as the only book you need to read. That would have been a good idea. I got that, by the way, just right before we got on here, because I was like, man, I should give him some examples of books. So I am, in my lifetime, and that's not that long, 37 years, what I've come to believe is that I'm never going to be the best version of me, but I can always pursue it. It's the pursuit that keeps us fresh and engaged. I think here's a good analogy, here's a good example. You'll know when you're really committed to you when you're happy and you're healthy. And I guess let me state that a little differently, because that probably doesn't make sense. You'll know when you're in the pursuit forever and ever and ever, because this is never going to stop, by the way. Personal development doesn't stop. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter what career path you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how healthy you are. None of it matters. It's a pursuit forever and ever and ever again. Your personal development will stop when you become happy and comfortable, is a better word. That's when your development will stop. It's when somebody gives you $1 million because you won the lottery and you say, that's it, I finally made it. That's how you know you have given up on life and you'll never, ever see the best version of you. Your job isn't to get to a specific place in life. It's to continuously pursue the next place in life. People say enjoy the journey and all that stuff. Okay, cool. I'm in the pursuit of something. That's the best version of me. So I want to give you guys the opportunity here, because I have to plug this. This is something that's meaningful to me. It is part of my legacy. It's part of the legacy of our organization and our team. It is the most impactful thing that we have ever done. And we try to feed, we always do. We try to feed 5,000 families each and every year a meal that is much deserved during the Thanksgiving holiday, in the hopes that we bring people together this time, which is this Thanksgiving year. I would love for you to help by donating and feeding one family for $25 or becoming one of our sponsors. I would love to have you part of our organization. If you are local and would like to contribute and be a volunteer or nominate a family in need, please do so. This is part of my development and your development as well. I think the art and the act of giving is part of a development. I think giving with no expectations is something that is important to me and any developer, anybody who's in the pursuit of the best version. I'll leave with this quick story, which I probably was going to share next week, but it's very important to do this. You see, I believe that the more you give, the more you shall receive. That's not only biblical, but it actually is a life principle. It is something that I have seen in my life each and every time I've ever done it, blindly, with pure faith, because faith is the belief, right? Faith is the belief part. It's the belief that it will happen regardless of what happens. There's, through some way, shape, or form, through some divine entity or power, things will happen. The stars will align for you. And when I decided, this was about 5 years ago, to really make this a big deal. And I say I don't want to make this about me. This isn't just me saying this. It was because when we first started this, and I say when we started this thing, I was driving this bus, man, and I didn't know where I was going, and I didn't know how I was going to do it. And it was one of the biggest things, because I told myself, if we can commit to 50, we can commit to 500. And I remember just saying, let's just do 500 in my mind. And I didn't know how we were going to do it. I didn't know what we were going to do. I didn't know how we were going to raise it. We only had like 3 weeks to do it. And I knew if I made that commitment, that if I didn't make it happen, that I was going to have to put up some money, like personally going to put up money to make it happen. And I didn't really have that kind of money just sitting around. So I knew I had to hustle and I needed to work hard. And I remember leaving the office that day that I made the commitment on social media. It was day one. I said, we're going to feed 500 families. And I remember leaving and thinking, oh crap, how the hell am I going to do this? We have a great team, which I love and support. I have great family and supports in my life. And so I knew that as a team, we could probably figure it out, but I was stressed and I was scared. It was one of the most scary things I've ever committed to, because it wasn't about the commitment. I can sign $100,000 deal right now. I could go buy a piece of real estate for a few $1 million. And this is not to brag. I'm just telling you something. When I sign it, I'm not scared. Life will go on for me and I will continue to push, right? But when I have a commitment that could put people's lives in a place that's worse off, or when I commit to somebody and I can't deliver, when I hurt or impact a family or my team, those are big decisions for me. I couldn't do that. I can do that, but those are the ones that hurt. And I made the commitment to do Free Hunger Nation 500 that year. It was called Feeding 500. And I remember leaving my office and going to have dinner with a buddy of mine. And I go to dinner and he gets there late. So I sat at the bar by myself for a while. And as I'm sitting at the bar, I'm having a drink, and to the left of me, there's a couple, they're having a good time, and we're networking, or they're networking with everybody. And then I look over and I'm just like, how you guys doing? And then we were all talking. And then I said, can I buy you guys a drink? We're just having fun. And then maybe halfway through the conversations that we're having, the lady says, what do you do? And I said, well, I have a tax company and we do taxes. And right now we're working to get tax school students. We're trying to hire and recruit. I said, what do you do? And she says, well, I am the director of the local food pantry. and I said, whoa, literally did I sit next to the director of the local food pantry. And I was just about to try to feed 500 families. And I said, oh my God, this must have been fate. This must have been somebody telling me something bigger than I needed to know today. And she says, what's going on? And I said, I just made a commitment to feed 500 families during Thanksgiving. And she says, that's a big commitment. And I said, yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I decided I needed to do this because this is something that has been on my mind, and our team and I really want to make this happen. And she looks over to me and she says, I will support you. I can help you. I have connections. I can help you with buying food at a cheaper price. I can donate things to your cause. I would love to be part of this. And it was one of the most impactful conversations I've ever had to this organization, because it was just by sheer fate, by me literally announcing it on Facebook at 5 o'clock, not knowing how it was going to happen, to 6:30 sitting down with a lady at the bar who is now one of the most influential people in our organization today, and who's really supported and grown. Her name is Forrest Walker, and she's a beautiful lady. And because of her commitment and because of just fate, God, whatever you want to call it, it really became this big thing today. So if you want to donate, $25 feeds a family. If you'd like to be a bigger sponsor, you or your organization, you can also go to our website, freehungernation.com, and become a sponsor. You can connect with me and buy my book. If you haven't already got my book, please. I can't stress enough. And start your path to freedom. If you were learning or wanting to know more about finances, real estate investing, things that really are important to your life and career, like I mentioned in your development, startyourpath-to-freedom.com. All right, guys, let me see if there's any questions. I don't think there is. I didn't see any beep beeps. All right. Well, I really appreciate each and every one of you today. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending your morning with me. Please watch the replay if you can. Share this with a friend if you really appreciated it. Go to Facebook and grab the live version if you want to share it. And we'll see you next week. God bless you guys and have a great and fantastic day. Bye-bye.